things today. But I just want to dive in and get straight to the readings. My name is Cimonealise. You can call me Cece. Nice to meet you. I'm going to take these nails off tonight. I think that's my plan. Try to take them off. My locks aren't not like doing the things that I want it to do right now. So we're just going to let it thrive the way it wants. And that's not what I want, but they growing. This is the stage that I hoped for. We here now. It just looks a little nuts when it's all like super straight, but it's all right. All right, let's hop into it, shall we? Okay. So bring this down a little bit. I think that's what it is. I think my camera was just up too high. Nonetheless, tonight we're just reading and journaling, all the things. I'm Cimonealise. I stream daily on beauty, reading, and more. And tonight we're reading our Confident Woman Daily Devotional, and then we're going to finish it with our excerpt from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because I really want to finish this book this month. I believe we can get through it together. But today is January 12th, so we're going to just go ahead to January 12th. Take the step. Jesus said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water, and he came towards Jesus. Matthew 14:29. Perhaps the boat you need to get out of is your past. Sometimes we get so addicted to the murmuring about the past and blaming the past for everything that we miss our whole future. You're not going to enjoy your future. You're not going to enjoy it right now if all you can do is be guilty and ashamed and afraid of your past. What is that you're afraid somebody will find out that will cause them to turn against you? Anything you have to keep hidden has power over you. You're not going to ever be free if you just keep running away from your past. You have to confront and deal with it. No one is going to come along and do it for you. Jesus is calling you out of the boat. God has given you his power, and his spirit is dwelling in you, so you can do things that are hard to do. You can do anything you need to do. He isn't going to get into your boat and make you feel better. Get out of your system. Get out of the boat of your past. I'm gonna read that one more time because I kind of need to hear that. Perhaps the boat you need to get out of is your past. Sometimes we get so addicted to murmuring about the past and blaming the past for everything that we miss. We miss our whole future. You're not going to enjoy your future, and you're not going to enjoy your right now if all you can do is be guilty and ashamed and afraid of your past. What is it that you're afraid somebody will find out that will cause them to turn against you? Anything you have to keep hidden has power over you. You're not going to ever be free if you just keep running away from your past. You have to confront and deal with it. No one is going to come along and do it for you. Jesus is calling you out of the boat. God has given you his power, and his spirit is dwelling in you. So you can do things that are hard to do. You could do anything you need to do. He isn't going to get into your boat and make you feel better. Get out of your system. Get out of the boat of your past. Okay, and then there's a prayer for anyone who needs it. Lord, I will not stay stuck in my past. By your grace, the past has been forgiven, and I have a new life in you. If there's something in my past that needs to be dealt with, show me how to do it in the right way. Amen. I'm going to read it again. Lord, I will not stay stuck in my past. By your grace, the past has been forgiven, and have a new life in you. If there's something in my past that needs to be dealt with, show me how to do it in the right way. Amen. And one last time for the people in the back of the chat. Lord, I will not stay stuck in my past. By your grace, the past has been forgiven, and I have a new life in you. If there's something in my past that needs to be dealt with, show me how to do it in the right way. Amen. And that's our daily devotional. Okay, I read this, written by Joyce Meyer. You know, the Confident Woman Daily Devotional, 365 Daily Inspirations. So every day, I like that it's like pink, but every day of the year, there's a different devotion and whatnot. So I'm gonna read these every day. And then this one is for everybody because I know we all don't have the same sky daddy, and I respect that. You know, I understand. So this one is for everyone, if you will. That one's for everybody, but you know, everyone has a different sky daddy, and we have to respect each other, right? So, 7 habits of highly effective people. This is something that we can all subscribe to on being more highly effective people out in our life, the workplace, socially, parental wise, like just communal wise. Like we can all find ways to be highly effective people. So we left off on page 106. Okay. All things are created twice. Or no, by design or default. That's what we're on. Okay. It's a principle that all things are created twice, but not all first creations are by conscious design. In our personal lives, if we do not develop our own self awareness and do not become responsible for first creations, we empower other people and circumstances outside our circle of influence to shape much of our lives by default. Basically saying we'll just automatically allow our environments to create who we are versus like taking control of our environment. You know, we reactively live in the scripts. We reactively live the scripts handed to us by family, associates, other people's agendas, the pressures of circumstance, scripts from our earlier years, from our training, our conditioning. These scripts come from people, not principles, and they rise out of our deep vulnerabilities, our deep dependency on others, and our needs for acceptance and love, for belonging, for a sense of importance and worth, for a feeling that we matter. Whether we are aware of it or not, whether we are in control of it or not, there is a first creation to every part of our lives. We either the second creation of our own proactive design, or we are the second creation of other people's agendas, of circumstances, or of past habits. The unique human capacities of self-awareness, imagination, and conscious enable us to examine first creations and make it possible for us to take charge of our own first creation, to write our own script. Put another way, habit 1 says you are the creator. Habit 2 is the first creation. Let's see, leadership and management, the 2 creations. Habit 2 is based on principles of personal leadership, which meets, hold on. This is a new excerpt, that's what threw me off. Leadership and management, the 2 creations. Habit 2 is based on principles of personal leadership, which means that leadership is the first creation. Leadership is not management. Management is the second creation, which we'll discuss in the chapter on habit 3. But leadership has to come first. Management is the bottom line focus. How can I best accomplish certain things? Leadership deals with the top line. What are the things I want to accomplish? In the words of both Peter Drucker and Warren Bennis, management is doing things right Leadership is doing the right things. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Management is efficiency and climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. Management is efficiency and climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. Okay, you can quickly grasp the important difference between the two if you envision a group of producers cutting their way through the jungle with machetes. The producers, the problem solvers, they're cutting through the undergrowth, clearing it out. The managers are behind them, sharpening their machetes, writing policy and procedures, manuals, holding muscle development programs, bringing in improved technologies, and setting up working schedules and compensation programs for the machete workers. The leader is the one who climbs the tallest tree, surveys the entire situation, and yells, "Wrong jungle." But how do the busy, efficient producers and managers often respond? "Shut up, we're making progress." As individual groups and businesses, we're often so busy cutting through the undergrowth, we don't even realize we're in the wrong jungle. And the rapidly changing environment in which we live makes effective leadership more critical than it has ever been in every aspect of independent and interdependent life. We are more in need of vision or destination and a compass to set of principles of directions. We are more in need of vision or destination and a compass, a set of principles or directions, and less in need of roadmap. We often don't know what the terrain ahead will be like or what we'll need to go through it. Much will depend on our judgment at the time, but an inner compass will always gives us direction. Effectiveness, often even survival, does not depend solely on how much effort we expend, but on whether or not the effort we expend is in the right jungle. And the metamorphosis taking place in most every industry and profession demands leadership first and management second. In business, the market is changing so rapidly that many products and services that successfully I'm getting tongue tied, you guys. In business, the market is changing so rapidly that many pro- oh my goodness. Okay. In business, the market is changing so rapidly that many products and services that successfully met consumer tastes and needs a few years ago are obsolete today. Proactive, powerful leadership must constantly monitor environmental change, particularly customer buying habits and motives, and provide the force necessary to organize resources in the right direction. Such changes as deregulation of the airline industry skyrocketing costs of healthcare, and the greater quality and quantity of imported cars impact the environment in significant ways. If industries do not monitor the environment, including their own work teams, and exercise creative leadership to keep headed in the right direction, no amount of management expertise can keep them from failing. Efficient management without efficient management without effective leadership is of one individual has phrased it like straightening deck chairs on the Titanic. That's crazy. Okay. Efficient management without effective leadership is as one individual has phrased it, like desk straightening deck chairs on the Titanic. Do you catch that? I just want to say it one more time. That's crazy. I feel like as I read this, I feel like almost feel like management and leadership are one and the same, you know? So this is giving me clarity. Efficient management Without effective leadership, as one individual has phrased it, like straightening deck chairs on the Titanic, no management success can compensate for failure in leadership. But leadership is hard because we're often caught in a management paradigm. And let's see. At the final session of a year-long executive development program in Seattle, the president of an oil company came up to me and said, Stephen, because Stephen's the one who wrote the book, Stephen R. Covey, he said, when you pointed out the difference between leadership and management in the second month, I looked at my role as the president of this company and realized that I have never been into leadership. I was deep into management, buried my pressing challenges and the details of day-to-day logistics. So I decided to withdraw from management. I could get other people to do that. I wanted to really lead my organization. It was hard. I went through withdrawal pains because I stopped dealing with a lot of the pressing, urgent matters that were right in front of me and which gave me a sense of immediate accomplishment. I didn't receive much satisfaction as I started wrestling with the direction issues, the culture building issues, the deep analysis of problems, the seizing of new opportunities. Others also went through withdrawal pains from their working style comfort zones. They missed the easy accessibility I had given them before. They still wanted me to be available to them, to respond, to help solve their problems on a day-to-day basis. But I persisted. I was absolutely convinced that I needed to provide leadership, and I did. Today, our whole business is different. We're more in line with our environment. We have doubled our revenues and quadrupled our profits. I'm into leadership. I'm convinced that too often parents are also trapped in the management paradigm, thinking of control, efficiency, and rules instead of direction, purpose, and family feeling. And leadership is even more lacking in our personal lives. We're into managing with efficiency, setting and achieving goals before we have even clarified our values. I'm reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, if you just turned in. And we just read our daily devotional before we got into this reading. Yes, indeed, Jesus is King. Oh, I don't make fun of God. I love him. He's my father. My daddy, if you will. My sky daddy. That's with all respect. No disrespect at all. I believe I believe all people have different beliefs and values, and only thing I can do is just share my personal testimony on how he has landed in my life. Now, am I a perfect Christian? Not at all. But God knows my heart, and I use Jesus as the template, as my guiding grace, the template on how to live. Although there's never enough that we can do to be walking in perfection. We are becoming to this world, you know? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, nonetheless, nah, all the respects. But back to this. I was just reading some of the comments and stuff. Uh-oh, someone got put in timeout by Denzel. Denzel is here. Hi, Denzel. Okay, I'm back to my reading now. Like this live if you like it, share if you care, subscribe if it's a vibe, and all the things in between. I appreciate you. Denzel, I changed my welcome name. Now it's just Cimonealise. We do beauty, reading, and more. That's it. Beauty, reading, and more. I think that's a lot simple now. Okay. Rescripting, becoming your own first creator. As we previously observed, proactivity is based on the unique human endowment of self-awareness. The two additional unique human endowments that enable us to expand our proactivity and to exercise personal leadership is our lives, our imagination, and conscience. Through imagination, we can visualize uncreated worlds of potential that lie within us. Through conscience, we can come in contact with universal laws or principles with our own singular talents and avenues of contribution, and with personal guidelines within which we can most effectively develop them, combined with self-awareness. The two endowments empower us to write our own script. Because we already live in many scripts that have been handed to us, the process of writing our own script is actually more of a process of re-scripting our paradigm shifting, of changing some of the basic paradigms that we already have. As we recognize the ineffective scripts, the incorrect or incomplete paradigms within us, we can proactively begin to re-script ourselves. Okay. I think one of the most inspiring accounts of the re-scripting process comes from the autobiography of Anwar Sadat, past president of Egypt. Sadat has been reared, nurtured, and deeply scripted in a hatred for Israel. He would make the statement on national television, "I will never shake the hand of an Israeli as long as they occupy 1 inch of Arab soil. Never, never, never." And a huge crowds all around the country would chant, "Never, never, never." He marshaled the energy and unified the will of the whole country in that script. The script was very independent and nationalistic, and it aroused deep emotions in people, but it was also very foolish, and Sadat knew it. It ignored the perilous, highly interdependent reality of the situation. So he rescripted himself. It was a process he had learned when he was a young man imprisoned in cell 54, a solitary cell, Cairo Central Prison, as a result of his involvement in the conspiracy plot against King Farnook. He learned to withdraw from his own mind and looked at it to see if the scripts were appropriate and wise. He learned how to vacate his own mind, and through a deep personal process of meditation, to work with his own scriptures, his own form of prayer, and rescript himself. He records that he was almost loath to leave his prison cell because it was there that he realized that real success is success with self. It's not in having things, but in having mastery, having victory over self. For a period of time during Nasser's administration, Sadat was relegated to a position of relative insignificance. Everyone felt that his spirit was broken, but it wasn't. They were projecting their own home movies onto him. They didn't understand him. He was hiding his time. He was binding his time. And when that time came, when he became president of Egypt and confronted the political realities, he restricted himself toward Israel. He visited the Knesset, I don't know, I don't want to be disrespectful, Knesset in Jerusalem, and opened up one of the most precedent-breaking peace movements in the history of the world, a bold initiative that eventually brought about the Camp David Accord. Sadat was able to use his self-awareness, his imagination, and his conscience to exercise personal leadership to change an essential paradigm to change the way he saw the situation. He worked in the center of his circle of influence, and from that, rescripting that change in paradigm flowed changes in behavior and attitude that affected millions of lives in the wider circle of concern. In developing our own self awareness, many of us discover ineffective scripts, deeply embedded habits that are totally unworthy of us, totally incongruent with the things we really value in life. Habit 2 says we don't have to live with these scripts, don't have to live with those scripts. We are responsible, we are response able to use our imagination and creativity to write new ones that are more effective, more congruent with our deepest values, with the correct principles that give our values meaning. Suppose the example, suppose for example, that I'm highly overreactive to my children. Suppose that whenever they begin to do something, I feel inappropriate. I sense an immediate tensing in the pit of my stomach. I feel defensive walls go up. I prepare for battle. My focus in not on the long-term growth of understanding, but on the short-term behavior. I'm trying to win the battle, not the war. I pull all my ammunition in my superior size, my position of authority, and I yell or intimidate or threaten my punish. And I win. I stand there victorious in the middle of the debris of a shattered relationship with my children, an outwardly submissive and inwardly rebellious, suppressing feelings that will come out later in ugly ways. Now, if I were sitting at the funeral where we realize, now, if I was sitting at the funeral we visualized earlier, one of my children was about to speak, I would want his life to represent the victory of teaching, training, and disciplining with love over a period of years rather than the battle scars of quick fix skirmishes. I would want his heart and mind to be filled with the pleasant memories of deep, meaningful times together. I will want him to remember me as a loving father who shared the fun and the pain of growing up. I will want him to remember the times he came to me with his problems and concerns. I will want to have listened and loved and helped. I will want to know that I wasn't perfect, but that I had tried with everything I had, that perhaps more than anybody in the world I loved him. I read the reason I would want those things and the reason I would want those things is because deep down I value my children. I love them. I want to help them. I value my role as their father. But I don't always see those values. I get caught up in the thick of I get caught up in the thick of thin things. What matters most gets buried under the layers of I get caught up in the layers of pressing problems, immediate concerns, and outward behaviors. I become reactive, and the way I interact with my children every day often bears the little resemblance to the way I deeply feel about them. Because I hopefully you guys can hear me still. Okay, I got a phone call. I'm gonna call it right back. Because I am self aware, because I have imagination and conscience, I can examine my deepest values. I can realize the script I'm living in is not in harmony with those values, that my life is not that that my life is not the product of my own proactive design, but the result of the first creation I have deferred to circumstances and other people. And I can change. I can live out my imagination instead of my memory. I can tie myself to my limitless potential instead of my limiting past. I can become my own first creator. To begin with the end in mind means to approach my role as a parent as well as other roles in life with my values and directions clear. It means to be responsible for my own first creation, to rescript myself so that the paradigms from which my behavior and attitude flow my congruent, are congruent with my deepest values in harmony with correct principles. It also means to begin each day with those values firmly in mind. Then, as the vicissitudes, as the challenges come, I can make my decisions based on those values. I can act with integrity. I don't have to react to the emotion, the circumstance. I can be truly proactive, value driven because my values are clear. I think that was nice. We read a few more pages than usual. I was really liking this. Technically, we ended on page 113, and tomorrow's January 13th. I think that's kind of dope. Denzel, you're so quick with it. Welcome to the live stream. You new here. CC streams daily on beauty, reading, and more. Yay! Okay, so my mom called me, and it's pretty late. At this time, we would actually grab our journals, and we would start doing our journals. I enjoy journaling. I like to write my feelings, my thoughts, my hopes, my dreams, and all the things in between. So I hope you guys get a chance to journal tonight. Think about me, that you're not journaling by yourself. I'm just going to be chatting with my mom before bed. And I hope everybody has a beautiful week this week. I treat Mondays as like little New Year's. Like it's another opportunity to start fresh. I know some people loathe Mondays, but honestly, it is what it is. It's going to come every week, so why like get down about something you know is going to be here anyway? So respectfully, prayers to everyone who was affected by the fires in LA, prayers to everyone who's affected by the cold in the South, and prayers to people everywhere in the world going through things that we do or do not know, known and unknown, that tomorrow can be a greater day than it was today or yesterday, even if it's just a little bit. Okay? I hope everyone has a good night tonight. And like this live if you like it, share if you care, subscribe if it was a vibe. Again, I'm Cimonealise. You can call me CC, capital C's on me, big CC if you will. And I stream daily on beauty, reading, and more. And I hope to see you again. Until next time. Okay, I love you. Good night. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.